Another episode of Daniel in the Den. We
with
got a
a
special guest.
super special guest in the house,
Yo.
Mr. Bronson Kaufusi.
The
What's up?
homie.
The homie of all
The
homies,
homie.
which Max Hall just said, tell this guy that quarterbacks always come first.
Hey, the dollars don't lie.
They always don't lie, dude. Dude, we just had an epic session with Max, dude. That guy, he gives you mad love, by the way, but he just reflected on some amazing moments of his whole life. But
His story is
it's powerful, bro. I'm excited for you to watch that episode. He raw, real, authentic, which is what Daniel in the Den is all about, dude, is elevating the world to the highest level of vibration, which is authenticity.
Let's go.
Heart,
Let's
dude.
about.
That's what we're talking about, dude. And man, talk about an authentic dude. You are authentic, bro. And I tell you what, man, like the fact that you threw out the invite right after coming home from NYC for me and my boy to come on a hike with you and your boy, Taika, was dope, dude. Me and Coop. Dude, Coop doesn't get up. Coop doesn't go on hikes. The fact that we went on a hike, I told my wife, I'm like, yeah, I got Coop to go on a freaking nature walk. She's like, what? Like, he does not do hikes. And we got home and he's just like, dude, that was awesome. That was epic. So
That was fun. Let's do it again.
Dude, we'll do it again.
What trails did you do?
What is that trail? Indian something.
Indian Trailhead.
Yeah.
Where is it at? In the Provo Canyon?
Yeah, right before you go in Provo Canyon.
Yeah.
Off Canyon Road. Yeah. It was fun though. It was beautiful.
It was beautiful. And I love that it was Indian Trailhead, because that is also a big thing that I'm all about, is us turning our hearts to our indigenous roots, bro. Talk about a society that was connected to source, right? That was connected to our ancient mother, right? Who is the water that we drink, the air that we breathe, the fire that keeps us warm, and the earth beneath our feet. Those indigenous roots, which we talked a little about, the Maori roots when we were on our hike.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So
it's unreal. It's unbelievable. It's so real. It's unreal.
There you go. It is so real. It is unreal. Absolutely. Very well stated. So, well, dude, thank you for being here and being on the Daniel in the Den podcast. As I said, we're all about this flag, which stands for freedom, but like true freedom is what we're talking about, right? And my man Bob, who speaks of emancipating ourselves from mental slavery, and none but ourselves can free our minds. And, you know, I know that's what you're all about, dude. I love, I can't wait to get into it and have you give us a little rundown on some of the things you're doing. But Chris was showing me one of the groups that the leadership groups, or that kid organization. I don't even know what it's called. What was it?
Young Athlete Society.
Dude, I love that, man. Some of the things you said on there, so much alignment with who you are as a person. And, you know, again, my heart is so full of love for you, for being here on this podcast with us. So
appreciate you, brother, man.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Seriously. I'm about it.
Yes, you are. We appreciate it. So, and thank you for the connection.
I know. Chris.
The one and only
Chris.
The one and only Chris. Big time. Right?
Oh,
Isn't that what it is?
Franklin,
Chris?
big time.
Franklin Schleierman.
That's what they call me.
That's what they call him. So
they should certainly what they call me. But I'm just trying to do what I need to do, take care of this one. So
yes. And Jay, dude, we've got another special guest with us. Jay. He's been hanging with my daughters inside, and then he got sick of hanging with the ladies. He's like, dude, I need to come hang with the bros in the den. So he walked in during Max's episode, and now we get to be here with Bronson.
He's going to judge whether or not he's going to be a DN or a quarterback based on the conversation.
There you go.
The conversation.
Hey, I will help you make the right choice.
There you go, bro. So yeah, man, tell us about your life, dude. We get people on here and we want to hear about the full gamut as much as you can. Childhood, tell us about your childhood, and you know, recap how you are where you are, and you know, the good times, the bad times, all the above, and you know, the things you had to wrestle through and fight through, and how you've seen the hand of the Almighty touching stones, right? Like brother Jared, dude, I feel like I've seen so much of that in my life recently. The more I've turned to this concept of just open heart. So with that, man, take the mic.
Man, so yeah, Bronson Kaufusi here. I was born in New Jersey, South Jersey. My dad was playing for the Philadelphia Eagles at the time, and so for him, his story is an intriguing one, just because he came straight from Tonga when he was um, 8 or 9 years old. Came to the U.S., moved to Utah, and found football because he was playing rugby at the park, and the coaches saw him and his brothers, and they're like, "Hey, you should come play football." So he went and started to play, and literally, didn't find football till high school, and got recruited. And once he learned about being recruited, he called home and was like, "Hey, everyone's got to play football because it's a big family, 6 boys." And so football has been a really heavy part of our life, and it's opened a lot of doors. So my dad pretty much trailblazed that. He's the oldest of 9, and his mom's the oldest of 16. And yeah, he ended up going to, down to, at the time it was Dixie, Utah Tech now, played there. And then ended up coming to BYU and playing, and that's where I met my mom, who grew up in Provo, and she grew up in Provo, raised single mom. Man, I'm about to say 6 kids, but it might be 5. Oh, but yeah, she's incredible. And they met. She was a cougarette, so she was dancing, and they met there in college, and yeah, I ended up getting married and moving to Jersey while my dad was playing for the Philadelphia Eagles. And so, yeah, he played with Reggie White, so he would back up Reggie White, and yeah, it's pretty crazy, honestly. Like, his coming from an island where, I'm looking at this room I'm sitting in, and the house he grew up in was smaller than this room, and and all his brothers ended up going and playing college football. And so he just kept on football opened up so many doors for him. He continued on that trail and started to coach. So he got hired at University of Utah, coached there for almost 10 years, and then BYU for almost 20 years. So, because of that, I grew up in that environment, sports environment, competing. I was at the facility all the time, all the games. I'd watch these guys work during practice and during workouts. And so, yeah, I grew up like a true coach's kid, I would say, where,
Awesome.
he was busy doing the coaching thing.
Fire. Front row seats, dude, to some incredible, like, what a cool. So your memory growing up then was BYU. That was when he was coaching at BYU, or did you get any of Utah as well?
Yeah. Utah. I would say Utah first, because I would say we moved when I was in about 5th grade.
Oh, okay.
From Salt Lake City, where him coaching at Utah, down to BYU.
Gotcha.
And so then we all kind of went through high school and ended up we all went to BYU.
It's awesome.
Kind of crazy.
Except for the little brother. He's
Our little brother. He transferred to the University of Utah.
There you go.
The youngest brother. But I have so many cousins. All those brothers my dad had and sisters. I have so many cousins that have gone. I probably had over just overall college football, like cousins for sure, over a dozen.
Dang.
I played Utah, BYU, Stanford, Oregon State, all over. And then, like, if you go to the uncles and aunts, like it's easily over 20. So yeah, sports has been a big part of our lives.
A lot of those college coaches and teams that all your cousins have played for got your pops to thank, dude, for making that phone call. Be like, yo, get over here and play this sport, dude.
No, seriously,
talent, dude. Recruited some talent.
No, seriously.
You guys ended up making it. So you and your brother Corbin, that's a cool story of making it, to the NFL. There have been others. Obviously, your dad. Who else has played in the league of that?
Yeah, my dad, and then my Uncle Will. So my grandma's younger siblings, technically, even though he's younger than my dad. And then, man, my cousin Isaiah went in, and who else went in? These are all first cousins. My my cousin David went in. Who else went in there? Just trying to remember everyone. Some of the uncles, I had 3 uncles that had opportunities as well in the NFL. So yeah, there's just a lot of us, honestly, and football has literally just been such a great, blessing in our lives because it opened the door to free education, right? And what comes with that from connections that you make in college. And it's very life-changing for us.
Absolutely. Well, dude, and the level of, I mean, just the discipline, dude. I mean, the game of football and just, I mean, sports in general, right? I mean, just the life skills and life lessons you learn from just being around, gritty people that are all out there competing and pushing each other and being disciplined and all those life skills that are learned and the concept of like, I think that's one of the things about football that I love. So that's why I was drawn to football, and I got to play for some cool teams growing up, and in high school. But general in team sports, like just that camaraderie feel, right? That brotherhood feel of just creating union and connection together and operating together as one. It's a powerful sport, man.
Yeah, there's just I just love it because like you see, and what's so cool about football and really all sports, especially team sports, like at every level, this is what's so cool because people are like, what is it like going from little like pee-wee football to high school to college to the NFL, and like what things are the same? Well, one of the coolest things that's the same is it doesn't matter where you come from. All that matters is that you're there. And because you're there in the room, you're there on the field with the team, you're immediately in. And yeah, and it's like, it's at every level. You see that at every level. Like it's the same thing in the NFL as it is when you're just growing up playing, like, which I love. Like, because everyone's like, okay, if that person over there is willing to sacrifice for the greater good of the team, I trust them.
I love that, dude.
Which is cool.
Absolutely. What you just said just reminded me something of what we're all about. And that is, and it's really this, so you can take that same mentality of team and whatever else of, okay, if that person is willing to do the work that it needs to take to sacrifice to be here, then for the greater good, right? And that's the thing of team sports, right? And especially football. And I don't know, I'm sure it's probably the same with rugby and soccer. I'm sure there's a lot of similarities there, but like, we are all about every day of our lives, we turn to the Almighty and say, Fountain of life and eternal support, give us the strength to be able to accomplish your will, not our will. Align our will with yours so that we can accomplish it for the greater good of all mankind, right? And as we as a people come together with that mindset and that desire in our hearts to be like, hey, how can we as a human collective become and operate as one that, yeah, we can go and compete. I mean, you think about it, like even in teams playing against other teams, like, yeah, there's rivalries, whatever, but like most of the time, especially in today's world, you're out giving each other's love afterwards. Like true competition is when everybody is elevated, right? Yeah, there's winners and quote unquote losers, but not really, dude. Everybody's winning. The winners win, and the ones that come up short, that they're elevated, right? And that's really what true competition is all about, right?
Yeah. No, I love what you're saying too. Like you bring up a really good point, and it just makes me think about like athletes specifically. Like, what is the greatest thing about being an athlete? It's the fact that you have a platform that you now get to use to give back. Like that is the greatest thing about being an athlete.
Dude,
That
so
athletes, once they experience that and know that, oh, they kind of move a little differently, and it's not I have to go to practice, it's I get to go to practice.
yeah.
I get to compete every day. I get to do these hard things. And because that platform, like it knocks down, just like we talked about how like when you're on a team, all the barriers come down. Well, when you go from the team to other settings, like to kids at schools or at hospitals or anywhere you go, barriers drop. just because they already know what you're about, what you do. And so being an athlete and knowing that you have this platform to change people's lives, it's a huge opportunity. And some people miss it, honestly. But for me, that's my messaging to all athletes, because even at every level, even when if you're an athlete in school, even in like high school, like, people know you're an athlete, and like when you do things and it just hits differently, it matters.
Totally. I want to hit on something with that. The thought came to mind when you were bringing that up, and it's really where one of my passions around doing what I'm doing with the C2A and connected consciousness and helping people kind of truly go inward and figure out who they are. Like, you have a unique, and I'm sure, I don't know, like, I would like you to speak to this so I don't make assumptions, but you naturally come with this energy of that, like facing forward, looking forward. How can I give? How can I serve? How can I be uplifted? And I think there's a lot of people that, in order to get where, to the level, whether it be collegiately or whether it be, professionally, and even at a high school level, like, people oftentimes define themselves. We talked a little bit about this with Max, but like their self-worth is defined by whatever they are, whatever they're doing. And then when they make it, and then when they're done, and even when they're in there, like, they have these barriers and walls, because like really at their core, like, they're just that, football player. They're just, whatever it is they are, because they put so much time, energy, and effort into that. So how have you been able to, like, separate yourself from being able to be like, yeah, I'm Bronson Kaufusi that played all these places, but really, like, I know who I am in my core, and it's so much more than football, right? It's so much more than, the successes on the outward facing front. Like, you've done an incredible job with that, and I just, how have you been able to kind of keep that clarity, I guess, and alignment?
And then I would also add to that is, like, if we could then go into the story of like some of the stuff that I know you've told me about, those moments, those things, those decisions you made high school and college that led you to be able to have that network and that education in statistics and whatnot that's helped you get into business.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's great. Those are great questions. I feel super, super blessed because, first of all, I had someone in my dad that had walked this path before. So this is super valuable because, what he's been teaching us forever is like, football is like this much of your life, but really your life is this.
Yeah.
And so, you're a football player, right? That's what you do. It's not who you are. And so my parents were really good at making sure that we focused, we put energy into other things outside of sports. So at church, I mean, if I wanted to go to the movies, I had to earn my own money. So my parents had us work. So I worked at Days Market, local grocery store, right here as a checker, and just talk to people. I'd be playing on a Friday night. Well, on Saturday, I'm at the grocery store bagging groceries, doing things like that, cutting down trees, doing all these things, learning how to talk to people, and just knowing that, yeah, football, it's something that we love, and we need to do our best in it, and it can open doors and do all these great things, but it's the opportunity to affect other people for good. Well, just one of those things that really amplifies the opportunity. So, and it doesn't matter what we did growing up. My dad and my mom too. Like, my mom was big. We had to play. Yeah, we played a sport. We all had to play a sport, and we all had to play an instrument.
Yeah.
So I played I played the piano. So I played it for years, 10 years. So, I feel fortunate to have parents that saw the big picture and had us do things that, not everyone else was having, their kids do. Like, a lot of my teammates, they never had jobs or things going on in high school, but that's just the way that it was in our family. And so, so first of all, like, shout out to the parents because they're
Yeah.
incredible, right? They're
Shout out
so
to Dad Kaufusi.
Amen to that, dude.
yeah, they're so good. They were so helpful with all of that. And but I would say like, you know, the one thing that was instilled in me from a very young age, and then also because in high school I went through, you know, adversity, especially with sports. And in high school, my senior year, in the third game, no, it was the second game of my senior year, we were playing up in Idaho, and I tore my ACL, and that was my first major injury, where I was just done. And you know, I remember specifically coming out of that injury, certain things that changed in me, and one of them was, man, the level of gratitude that I had to play the game and to like go and also just be there with my teammates. I appreciated little moments. I appreciated all the tough times. I appreciate something I hated to do was running.
Yeah.
Guess what? After that injury, I love running. I
Yeah.
love doing conditioning because I had it taken away before. And
Mhm.
so from that, going into college, I just had an appreciation for moment to moment, like the appreciation when you wake up in the morning. Like I'm just grateful I got to wake up. I'm grateful I get to go and you know I'm running water. I got to go brush my teeth right now. I get to go. I have a gym. I got to go work out in my own gym here. I get to I get to drink water right here out of this fridge instead of having to walk somewhere and go get it. Like stuff like that really changed me. And then also, like for me, like going on a church mission where I literally, every day you're serving people every day. It's like, wow, this is incredible. You forget yourself, but then that's a Bible lesson I learned where it's like, okay, when I forget myself and I'm, helping other people, then that's where I find myself. And so, like, who am I truly, like, to my core? And I feel like, having the sense of gratitude every day, having the sense of, truly we're just a speck of dust on a speck of dust on a speck of dust. Like,
Yeah.
knowing that, and we're here to help, we're here.
Truth, dude. Yes.
We literally talk about that all the time.
Amen.
Yeah.
We are to the universe as
One singular cell is to our body.
to our body.
That's it.
It's true. No, it's true. Like, and that's the thing. Like, but then where's the opportunity in that? It's like we get to help other people fulfill dreams and things they've never done before. If we're willing to see the people around us for what they can be. And I think that's so important. It's like, no matter what I do, like I'm going to in business, in life, in all these sports, like it has to be able to help people.
Yeah.
That's what we're here to do. So I am game. If it's something going on where I get to help someone or make a difference or change a life, then I'm all for it because I've experienced that. I've had people help me, and everyone has people help them. And so it's the more that we can have the mindset of, okay, how can I help other people? How can I help people see more purpose in their life, to create more clarity so they can move in a sense of 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 purpose and truth for them. Wow, I mean, now you're living a life that's fulfilled every day, and I can wake up every day juiced. And people always ask me like, where do you get all that energy from? I'm like, because of that right there, what I just said. Like,
Yes.
so I find
Yeah.
I'm people are like I get when I get around people and I hear people what they're doing, I get more excited. I could talk to people all day because it's like, oh, people are just so many people are so much closer to, living life, a more fulfilled life than what they realize. So I love talking to people about it.
Dude, I love what you just said. And like for man, especially having, what you just said, like that is like really raw for me and real because for me, my whole life, um, it's just the rat race. I think there's a lot of people out there that get stuck in the rat race, right? They just feel like we're just doing, we're just going, we're just grinding.
Mhm.
And the society we live in as a whole, collectively, I'm not saying for everybody, but the way that it's designed, I mean, again, most people we don't really know why we're doing what we're doing. We're just doing it because we're just in the grind and we're chasing the dollar and we're surviving. A lot of us are in survival state constantly, right? Chasing the lifestyle. Because again, when you're chasing dollars, no matter how much you have or how little you have, you aren't free. Freedom doesn't exist when that's at the forefront, right? When the underlying like purpose isn't there. And for me, like 5 years ago, where I hit my rock bottom moment in life, and I broke my back, and I literally hit the reset across the board on every aspect of my life. And kind of what led me to that point was, as I look back, was just naturally like running this rat race without really understanding like why am I doing what I'm doing, right? Like I need to be so it put me on a mission to like understand like true purpose, right? In doing things with intentionality and with purpose, instead of just doing it just to do it, but rather like you take a step back, you like take a deep breath and figure out like what direction am I going in? And now that I know where I'm going, like boom, let's go, game on, and have it be a purpose driven approach where really at the end of the day, you hit it, and it's what we're all about. Like I tell people in our office all the time, it's like, yeah, we're in the real estate business. Yeah, we are building communities that are consciously connected communities. Ultimately, we're in the business of healing human hearts within our company, within our households, first and foremost. That's what we're all about, is healing human hearts. And we start our days with meditations, pushing love, the most powerful energy in the universe out there for that purpose, in healing human hearts, first and foremost within ourselves, and then with our loved ones and friends and family and those that are suffering in the world today, because that's what the world's needing, is a lot of healing at the heart center.
That's why
Right.
the old Simon Sinek line where he has like, know your why. The why is human hearts. We happen to do that through real estate.
Yep. Absolutely.
But we also find ourselves doing that through other vehicles as well, like this podcast.
Yep.
And other vehicles along the way as we go. And as we continue to align with other cool people who have that same mission and same goal in life, we're just going to keep finding new ways to heal human hearts.
Yeah. That's, you know what? It's like, and it just doesn't happen overnight. It takes time and effort, and it's tough. And like, people, for me, what really helped me, and I would say like really work, like when I really started to like work on myself, I would say it was, I mean, not only as a church missionary, right? Because you definitely work on yourself doing that for 2 years. But, as an athlete, about my sophomore year is where my dad said, you need to go talk with a mindset coach. And the mindset coach that I went and met with, his name's Dr. Craig Manning, changed my life. Because that was the last thing that I needed. Because I was hypercritical, perfectionism. I would lose confidence immediately when I'd make a mistake on the field. I would analyze everything, so it paralyzed me, right? But then I learned all these different skills that allowed me to play faster, process faster, how to handle adversity, and how to take, a good play and turn it into momentum for the rest of the game. All these different skills that like directly go into life.
Yeah.
And I went all in on it. I went all in. I took the class 4 times. I've met with him since, what was that, 2013. But it made me a better athlete, made me a better husband, made me a better father, and it's all because, I was willing to say to myself, I'm just not quite where I want to be. I'm just not quite there yet. I have a vision for myself, but I'm willing to do what it takes though. Like I'm willing. And yeah, I just, was very honest with myself and you know, through meeting with him, man, it opened up a lot of okay, man, there's a lot more purpose to this
Yeah.
than me.
Absolutely, man. So I love that you're bringing up mindset because, dude, the power of the mind. Wow, so profound. And you obviously have done it yourself. And so, speaking to this youth, what did you call what is it called? Youth,
Oh, Young Athlete Society.
Young Athlete Society. So do you? And I guess I'm asking this a little bit for a personal reason because I got as you're talking through, I'm thinking about one of my sons that
You
will
got a
watch
young
this pod.
athlete.
Well, I got a couple of them, and my second oldest like will watch this and will resonate with what you're saying. And but I'm sitting there saying, do you do coaching? Like, who would you recommend as a mindset coach within your organization? Do you have like resources for that? Because I want to get him plugged in. He's kind of going back and forth. And I mean, if you have any recommendations on that, I would love to
Yeah.
look at somebody.
No, it changed my life. That's why I did it.
Oh, that's
And I realized, man, there's a lot of young athletes that could use this. But
Yeah.
all the elite mindset coaches in the NFL, NBA, they're all with the teams. So it's hard for them to provide the value. So yeah, I was like, okay, I've done this for over 10 years and I love it. I've met with multiple mindset coaches.
Yeah.
I put it into an online course initially. I do a few. I'm just so busy that I can only do, and honestly, so first of all, I started doing weekly calls,
Mhm.
and I had probably like 80 kids on there.
Yeah.
And I was just training them, you know. And I was like, okay, let's turn this into, you know, going from calls to I just didn't feel like it was as good, right? So then I was like, okay, let's do this, let's do some one-on-ones. But then I got so busy. I was like, okay, now let's do an online course. And I literally just I have that model right now, where I built this course, put a lot of like energy and effort into making it. The videos are like reels because
Yeah.
kids can stay focused, but they're used to watching reels. So the
Yes.
videos are real stuff moving across the screen, and there's a written portion. And but then I also wanted to make it to like, okay, yeah, I'll charge for it, but then I'm gonna put like a bunch of free stuff, like discount codes and stuff. So when someone buys it, they get access to all the codes. So then they're already going to buy this stuff anyway. So might as well use these codes that you don't have access to. So I mean, it's just such a game changer once you take an athlete who is a very gifted athlete, but mentally they're just get down on themselves too much.
We know 90% of the game is fought between the ears.
Dude,
How many kids do you think you've worked with total now? I mean, you started with 80 on that with the calls, but how many kids do you think you've worked with over the last few years?
Hundreds. I mean, I could be over 1,000, but it's just, you know, it's such a big need. And the coolest thing about it though, like I know it works for sports. Like I know that these skills that they learn allow them to play faster, have more confidence, and how to handle even winning. But you know what's cool is like what it does off the field. Like
Yes.
that's why I love it.
Yes.
It's different. It's such a difference maker. And it has to come from someone else other than the parent. Because I learned that from my dad.
Yeah.
So it's important that it comes from someone outside the parent, you know, it hits differently, you know. And I was like, well, back to the platform. I'm a pro athlete. I've gone through this. I've watched pro athletes that they've all listened to and watched for years, focused on this stuff in meetings and really work at it. It's like you know, as a tight end or as a DN, I was working on my pass rush. I was working on my route running, but like, where was the mindset work? I work on I have a nutritionist. I have a strength coach. I have a speed coach. I have all these different coaches, but it's like, I need a mindset coach. I need a mental performance coach. And my dad knew that my sophomore year, provided that opportunity. And honestly, he benched me my sophomore year and was like, you need to go talk to a mindset coach, you know, and you just have to be able to perform better on game day. And so the mindset coach is what changed it for me, because I had everything. Like I had everything that I would take to get to the next level, but mentally I just wasn't there, honestly. And so changed my whole life because of that.
That's so powerful, man. And to your point, you said there's such a massive need, and that's actually where and why and when things happen for me, and I'm like, my heart immediately turned to my kids, because I'm like, wow, these transformational concepts of mindset. Because I mean, I was raised to like power of the mind, like go, go, go. You can get through anything, like gritty, like, but it was more of like, I don't want to hear your emotions. Shut up and do it because I told you to do it, like force type mindset, which is
Yeah.
not necessarily the best approach. At some point that breaks, right? As
Yeah.
and so as I've learned how to like take it under a more of a positive, because it's got to be positive, right? The delivery's got to be positive. It's upbeat, it's positive. That's where it can actually be embedded into their soul. Like I looked at it and I'm like, man, my kids, I would love to have my kids understand and know these concepts. And that's where the birth of this C2A had started. And but it's interesting, like you said, it's got to come from someone outside the parents, because they've been hearing me talk about it forever. And there's like, yeah, whatever, dad. But then when I get one of their friends over and I tell them about these concepts, they're like, oh my gosh. And I go through it with them, and like I do a demonstration with one of their friends, and their
Yeah.
friends like eating it up, and they're like, oh wow, maybe I should start listening to my dad.
So true.
My dad does know what he's talking about. He's not just completely
You
crazy.
gotta teach my boy too, because I'm going to be getting him into sports in probably a year or two. Like, you got to come down here and teach these kids down here.
I know. I honestly like, it's an evolving thing. Like I got to figure out how to do this, at a quantity and quality, making sure it's good. Like, so that's why I just have the course online, like people can go get it, but it makes such a difference. Like it changed my life. And I mean, I've taken it with me into everything I do now.
Yeah.
Literally outside of football, I take it with me, you know, into the real estate world, into the
Sure.
professional, NFL agency world. Like everywhere I go, I just have a unique perspective. Like, and it's helped me in every situation. So
Yeah, no, I think that as you're talking about this, I think there can be some cool things we can collaborate together on with some of the things we're doing and we're launching on our front with this whole concept of Zen warrior. What does it mean to be a Zen warrior? It's all, teaching young men, young women how to connect their heart and their mind, physiologically speaking. That way they are able to, because the biggest issue in our world today is, yeah, cool, we understand mindset, but like when your brain is racing and you don't know how to step out of fight or flight mode, it doesn't matter. You can tell people till they're blue in their face that they got to have positive thoughts, but if they don't understand how to like reset the energy in their,
oh
then you're just like talking to a wall, right? But so that's what we're doing and working on. And I just think that there could be some cool things we can collaborate together on and create an event at this Zen Valley Ranch. This is 160-acre ranch down here in Arizona, maybe in the fall or next spring sometime, where we, as both of our movements roll out as they do. I think it would be cool to bring a group of kids together that are a couple hundred strong, and that have gone to your course, that have gone through the Zen Warrior Lab, and that are vibing on this same wavelength of mindset, and have whether they're sports people or not. I think it'd be cool to get a good mix of people that have a little bit of a blend of both, and do an event together and
yeah.
have an experience, right?
Oh yeah. Happy to. Whatever you, yeah, let's collab on that because dude, it is just like once people like really find like who they are, why they're even on the earth, why they're,
Yes.
why. It's like if you know why you're here every day, and also you have a way to especially when people have to rely on you,
Yeah.
that's one way to trigger it. Like you will wake up and your life will be different. Every situation you go into where your mindset's right, you know why you're here, you feel a tremendous need to give and to help others grow. Man, it's a beautiful thing, honestly. Like life
Yes.
changing. Truly is.
I know it is 100%. Wow. It's yeah, it is. And again, to be able to give like at such a time, at a time such as now, whereas there is such a massive need for it. I mean, the opposing force, the adversary, whatever you want to call that opposing force, is attacking our youth. for a reason, because they have a light to shine bright in this world, and they're getting attacked from every angle, from all of the different social media sites and whatever else. And now's the time to empower them. Now's the time to help what we call Zen warriors rise up and learn how to have the tools in their belt and the arrows in their quiver to be able to combat, be able to stand strong. And you know, for us Mormon folk, dude, it's the new age stripling warriors, bro. That's what we're all about, is rising up a new generation of Zen warriors living in the modern world, learning how to operate from the most powerful energy in the universe. Because when you're radiating this energy and you're charged with this energy, love, nothing can stop you, dude.
Remember what the stripling warriors said? It was like they were raised by their parents. They did not fear Satan.
Mm.
They did not fear any man. They had no fear.
Because they operated in faith.
They operated in faith and love, and that was it. They didn't even desire to kill the Lamanites. They desired to just protect and serve.
You know what's crazy? Like what you're talking about is, you know, when you're out in the world today and people are like what you were talking about, the rat race, people are going, you know, searching for what they need to change, to, you know, help them feel fulfilled, you know, which is to be happy, to experience peace in this life. Like, and what I found, you know, is when you are, like you said, like when you have that inner peace and that inner love, you know, and that inner belief in yourself, you actually will like you actually start to attract fulfillment.
Yes.
And a lot,
Yeah.
and that's the thing I've experienced. Like, you know, it's so cool because I mean, the law of attraction, right? Psychology, sports psychology too. Like what you think, right? Literally the words you use, the actions you take, it's all you're gonna attract, you know, all of that to your life. And it is, and once you experience that, it's life-changing. It really is. Like these little things, like, you know, it is truly life-changing. That's why I'm so big on the mindset, because I know like your thoughts, it's the beginning of the law of attraction. It's the
Yes.
beginning of, you know, and which is the law of occupied space, where, you know, what you think about, like your mind can only focus on like 2-3 things, and that space is filled. It's like, you know, understand that law of attraction, like, you know, mentally, you get to a point where you're in such a good place, you're playing life at a different level. And
Yes.
and
Yes.
people, but people can feel it. People can
Yes.
feel it. Like that's the
That's,
crazy thing. People around you, they're like, man, I like that. Like something's going on with that guy, man. Like, you know, whoa, like this is crazy. You know, and it's because, you know, certain individuals, you know, as we go out and meet people, and you know, you see that they're playing at this level.
yep.
And it's honestly attracting you to it, you know,
Yeah.
like, and it's really interesting.
It's the law. It's universal laws. You hit on it,
Yeah.
dude. It's I talk to people all the time. I use a demonstration. Dude, law of gravity works every time. Can't dupe it, dude. You drop this pen, it's gonna happen, dude, every time. Okay,
Yeah.
same universal law of vibration. Whatever energy you're radiating from your body, that's gonna come back into your life, right? And
Yeah.
so, why do you radiate that energy? The energy you radiate starts in the mind, right? Like being, but again, people understand that, but if you don't understand how to step out of the analytical thinking and survival centers of the brain, then you're constantly going to be in this loop that's stuck, that's thinking the same repetitive thoughts over and over and over again,
Yeah.
and you have control over the mind, right? But when you are empowered, when you know how to unite your heart and your mind, and you know how to visualize, dude, one of the, as you were talking, one of the quotes that came to mind that I've seen recently on social media that I love is McGregor, dude, when he's like, if you can see it and you have the courage to speak it, it will
Mm,
happen. It's
yeah.
like, wow, that's powerful. And it's that's one of the things we talk about in the C2A, to be an empowered human, one who attracts, because you're electromagnetically charged. Therefore, you're attracting into your life what you can see, vision of the future, combined with elevated emotions of inspiration and joy and gratitude and love and whatever other positive emotion you associate with that vision of the future, that you're an empowered human. You're a love magnet. You're a Zen warrior. You are attracting into your life. You're a co-creator with the divine. And it's going to happen. There's no duping universal laws. It's what's going to be. It's what's going to happen. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. I'm there with you. I'm there with you. And I can,
Oh, you are.
and what's cool about it, like you can't hide it. Like it's just
Oh.
who you are. You're
Yeah.
unapologetically your authentic self, which is
Yeah.
enough.
It's enough.
It's enough.
Yes.
You know, it's you're good.
Yes.
You.
Oh, so good. And the world wants to put shame and guilt and all those, mask all these feelings so that it diminishes your light. But no, when you step into like, I know who I am, and I have the courage enough to speak it and to not allow anybody around me or the naysayers to like, persuade me otherwise. Doesn't mean I'm perfect. I might say some things that may not be 100% in line, but forgive me. Like it's all good. This is who I am, and this is the direction I'm heading, and this is the desire of my heart. And
Yes.
when you are capable of speaking that with authenticity, you attract very powerful, authentic people that and opportunities and situations and every resource that you possibly need in order to accomplish the will of the Almighty, which is
Yeah.
what we're all about.
Yes. I'm there. I am. It's so cool, honestly, to see, I love, it's so cool when you see people living that life, living that way. And I just, man, I'm like, oh, how can I help? Like, what's going on? Like, just because.
You're helping, bro. You
Hmm.
being here and inviting me and Coop to go do what we did this weekend with you and spending the time with us on this podcast, doing what you're doing and us collaborating together. We will I'm manifesting right here, seeing a vision of the future and speaking it courageously. We will do some real estate deals together where we can not just do a real estate transaction. No. We are evolving transactional relationships into spiritual, harmonic, and energetic connections and infusing these assets, physical assets, with the most powerful energy in the universe, i.e. love, and are supercharging them so that the human beings, the residents in these homes, these multifamily projects, these consciously connected communities that we're building will feel that energy and will then be empowered themselves to co-create along the same line. Like this is what we're doing in the real estate space. It will completely reshape how real estate operates. Mark my words. That's what's happening. And you're taking that, dude.
It's all
And
about people. It's all
it's
about
all
people.
about people. That's it. That's all that matters.
We are promoting the Lord's program
Mm.
in real estate. We're going back to the communities, back to the
Amen.
homes,
Amen.
and we're bringing it back to families.
Amen. And we're attracting other like-minded real estate professionals on the brokerage level. That's the beautiful thing. Like we have a brokerage platform that we're like, hey, this is who we are. This is what we stand for. This is what we operate on. If you want to come be a part of a brokerage that, yeah, there's going to be revenues that come through this shop in a substantial form. And all those revenues that come back in are going to go right back into investing into multifamily, SFR projects, mixed use projects, communities that are all built upon the same concept to heal human hearts, to reset the energy in this world, because that's what the world needs. Our current program that we've been running and operating under has proven itself to not work, right? Like when the almighty dollar and the investor returns to Wall Street or whoever else your investors are come first, well, then it leads to a broken system that we're in right now, right? So it's time to reset the whole program and come be a part of a movement that is about being consciously connected. And let's use this abundance that will flow freely through all of us for the greater good, like we talked about, right? For the greater good of each other and of all mankind, because we got each other's backs, because we're operating in love and unison and one heart and one mind.
I'm there. Dang. I appreciate you guys. I have to run because I'm taking my buddy fishing.
Nice.
Let's go.
Nice, bro. That's
I seriously love, I could talk about mindset all day because I'm in it deep. I love it, and it's changed my life. So, and no, seriously, I love what you guys, how you guys view the world, and like how you view, because how you view it, it's like going into everything that you're doing, which I
Dude,
I
that's
like.
what we are, man. That's what we do. I couldn't, it literally, I had to take a step back from real estate. Like I had to like, and I did, I took a step back. For the last 3 years of my life, I've been meditating, visualizing, manifesting, creating, and waiting for it to happen. And I've re-entered in recently, dude. It's not been that long since I've been able to re-engage, but re-engage with a purpose. And I'm like, okay, this is like I was to a point where literally I was like, dude, this is done. This place is empty to me. It's all like it's about pride and ego and dollars and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, that doesn't jam with me, dude. I can't, I literally could not for years. I could not pick up the phone and make a phone call, save my life. I couldn't do it. Like
Wow.
I couldn't do it. Like I was in this place where I had to like, I'm like, all right, I'll trust because I was about to leave it. And God's like, no, I have greater purpose for you in this space. I'm like, all right, show me the way. I'll do what you need me to do.
Dude,
And
I love
so,
that. And you're
yeah,
doing it.
doing
So
it. We are doing it. We're one step at a time, allowing the Almighty to bring us whatever we need to do one day at a time, one step at a time.
go.
Game on.
Dude, so Bronson, I got one last thing I wanted to bring up to you, and then one item of business. One item of business is we'll be going up to Utah next week. We're doing an event. We don't know exactly dates we're going to be up there, but we do know that we'll be there on the Wednesday because we're doing an event at Space Station, lunchtime event at Space Station headquarters. You know Tim, you know the gang.
Yeah.
We're going to be up there. We'd love to have you there. We'd love for you to bring some folks if you've got the ability. No,
Yeah.
no rush, no force or anything. We let the blade do the cutting, but we'd love to have you there. Love for you to bring some folks. We want like-minded people who are generated to this consciousness movement that we're driving on, so we can all drive together. So that's the item of business.
Yeah.
And then the question is, or last topic is there any last things you want to highlight? Whether person, place, thing, idea, word. Is there any last thing you want to highlight?
I would just say like the last thing I would say is, time, energy, money, effort spent on yourself is never a wasted dollar. It's the greatest investment.
Amen.
So all I'm gonna say. Yeah.
Powerful, bro. I'm
Mic drop.
mic drop. I'm living testimony of that.
Mic drop.
I love that. So good, man. Amen.
Yeah. Amen, guys. I appreciate you guys taking the time. Thanks for letting me come on with you guys.
Thank you
Always
so
love
much,
you, brother.
dude.
Always love you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, much love. It was so good to meet you and your boy Tyka, dude. I look forward to Coop and Tyka, man. We're gonna get those homies together down the road when Tyka's older. And I want to get him and May together. Him and May, dude.
Yeah.
So May's about the same. She turns 5 here soon, so in a couple of weeks. So same
Let's
age.
go. That'll be fun.
Do it.
All right.
All right, buddy. Hey, have a great
Thanks,
rest.
guys.
All right. Thanks, bud.